Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Force Choke Podcast. This is episode 53. I'm Tim, and I'm also here with, to my left is Micah, and to my right we have Sarah. So today we're going to get to talking about a few current events, some theories, and some plot leaks that we'll get to talking about later. But first off, let's start talking about the Rey and Smee meme that's floating around. So
my eyes so hard.
What's that?
Rey and Smee or Shmee?
Smee.
It's Shmee, man.
It's Smee.
We're not doing Hook.
This
is not Peter Pan.
Rey and Smee from Hook. Insert Smee from Hook in the video.
Come on, Count Chocula.
Oh my god.
So that's such a good movie. They're showing that in theaters again, I think. Anyway.
We're missing a couple council members, so we're missing our fearless leader Lewis to keep us somewhat grounded. But you're gonna have fun with Tim.
So having fun with this topic is saying what people are saying is Rey using the now canon time travel, becoming Anakin's mother, which then puts this whole story into a loop.
Yeah.
I mean, both pictures of them, side by side, they look kind of like Smee does look like an older version of Rey.
Shmee. There's an H on it, son.
I did say Smee.
No, you said Smee.
I had
Oh my god.
Smee.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous, and I think we're talking about this just so we can poke holes in it. Was this the one you found from Twitter?
Yeah,
Sarah?
This is just a completely
Instagram.
different
one. It's
one.
just an Instagram post. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just I don't know. Personally, for me, I think it's ridiculous.
And you look at all the comments and like most of the people, I think, were into it.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know if they want to start fire, but like they liked it. There were a couple ones that said that it doesn't make any sense, which is true because. How is she gonna go back, use the whole Ezra thing, like what Ezra did with Ahsoka, where she can potentially go back in time through these time gates, and then all of a sudden, she doesn't have her force powers to get rid of, like to fight to combat against her being taken.
Yeah.
Whenever Anakin came to save her, like she would have had the power to get rid of those fools, and. Whenever Obi-Wan and who am I forgetting?
Qui-Gon?
Yeah, when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan went over, like they would have sensed it.
Yeah, I think it's crap. I was thinking that they're gonna try to do something to. Well, I was thinking potentially that they might try to do something where it seemed like a loop time thing. Like this is the finale of the Star Wars lineage or the Skywalker lineage. I don't think they're gonna do that, and I think it's kind of crap too. Just the way the story, it doesn't seem consistent with the writing. It just seems overall like someone's reaching to try to make that happen.
Well, JJ's done it before
because
with Star Trek.
This is Star Wars, my man.
But it worked. It was good. I like those movies.
So then, what you're saying is that they're gonna be doomed to repeat this for all.
No, I'm just saying that possibility is there. I don't know by how much.
And even then. Even then, from an aspect of if they did that, then you couldn't have any other Skywalker lineage stories.
Yeah.
And of course, they're telling us right now this is the finale of the story.
Yeah, they said it was going to end. That it wasn't going to keep going.
But they're going to... Time has a huge effect on these movies, right? Like, people didn't enjoy the prequels. And then now that generation growing up with it is kind of like, no, well, we kind of do enjoy the prequels, especially with the sequels coming out. And I don't know. I don't think it makes sense at all. It doesn't make sense. It's terrible logically, consistently through time. Sarah, what do you think?
I think it's a crappy idea.
Thank you.
It's a crappy idea. I mean, just because they look similar doesn't mean that Rey is Shmi. And then I was reading an article that they were speculating how Rey gets pregnant, and it's really disturbing. So I don't want
Is
to
it like
go
kind
down
of like
that
that
rabbit
movie?
hole.
What is that movie called? With Sylvester Stallone and the other actress. She did that blind movie on Netflix.
Demolition Man.
Yeah, Demolition Man. Yeah, where like they mate by having their helmets on.
Oh no, that wasn't how they. That's just how they had sex.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, you meant.
Yeah.
I was thinking you meant like actual. Let's make a baby.
Well, I'm not like
Oh my God.
if she's not gonna say, I'm just trying to assume like how did this
Right.
happen?
It's there's one like speculation about Emperor Palpatine. Doing,
Emperor
like,
Palpatine?
Emperor making like an immaculate conception type of thing in Rey. That's gross. And
Oh
then,
yeah, the power to create life. That's what we talked about with Plagueis, right? Creating Anakin.
But still, that's gross. I don't want to think.
Yeah, it was
about
supposed to be. Well, I mean, according to legend, more or less, which is not really relevant to us right at the moment, but that it was Plagueis, both Plagueis and Palpatine, that created a Force baby.
So
Oh, is that a new Force ability? You're pregnant. You're pregnant. You're all pregnant.
that's nasty. Anyway, so there's that theory,
Come
or
on,
the
Oprah.
theory that it's Kylo's baby, and she just went back in time after her and Kylo
Kyle, for real.
had relations. Yeah, that's also that's not.
Well, think about how Smee has the. Hold on. She has no force abilities, but think what's I'm freaking so bad at names, or either that or I'm losing my memory. Forrest Whitaker's
Or
character.
both. Saul Guerrero?
Yeah.
Yeah. He lost his memory, or like he used that beast that he had to make people lose their
Porco?
minds, lose their memory. Yes.
Well, people are also thinking that she like closed herself off from the Force, like Luke does.
Mm-hmm.
And
But at
that's
least,
how she.
but at least
doesn't,
like Luke admitted
do
all
But I
this
think
stuff.
closing yourself off from the Force isn't going to simply deteriorate your memory. And she says, "Oh, nothing. There was no father. It just happened." You know what I mean? Like,
maybe she was lying.
I think we're giving
You don't
too
just
much
get
consideration.
So you'd rather believe Kylo's story that she's from nobody's.
I think that's I said from the beginning that story was bogus. I said that like right after the movie, and Lewis will attest to that. As soon as it came out, I was like, Kylo Ren was lying. He was telling that to have the benefit of pulling Rey with him.
Well, do y'all want to go into the other plot leaks that we're gonna poke holes in?
Sure. I'm all about stabbing holes and things today. What's the next one? Sarah.
So kind of transitioning into a similar topic, Rey's lineage. A user on Twitter by iFixTrailers has supposedly an inside source from inside the studio. He does.
Wait, is this an official rumor?
Anyway, he does add the scapegoat or whatever. The information isn't complete, so half speculation, half whatever you want to call it. So Rey's lineage is apparently Han and Leia are her parents, and Kylo just lied to her because he has, I guess, major jealousy that Luke started to want to train Rey after seeing her power and just abandoned Kylo. That's the unofficial rumor.
Wait, he demanded Kylo?
That he abandoned
Oh.
Kylo for Rey. Poke holes, go.
You want to start with it, Tim?
But he was about to strike down Kylo Ren. Wow.
Well, strike
Well,
down
let me
the-
just say, what was running through my mind as she's saying these leaks is like, okay, we had.
Hold on.
when we
This leak.
Yeah, we
This
had
is so far.
we had leaks for Force Awakening, and none of those leaks were true except for one thing, which was the Force tree that Yoda torched, right? Not that the
for
leak.
the Last Jedi, you mean?
Oh yeah, for Last Jedi, and then yeah, what was another thing that was true of that leak? Oh, walking into the room with the Praetorian guards. Not the whole fight happening, but both Rey.
Are you talking about the
Kylo.
behind the scenes thing?
Were they behind the scenes? This was before the behind the scenes came out. What do you mean?
Oh,
This
okay.
is like the movie.
But no, I'm talking about like they had like a little pseudo behind the scenes trailer before the movie came out where it showed them like it looked like they were kind of just preparing for the movie, but in fact it was actually him preparing for that a specific scene, which was interesting to say the least.
So that he took that and made it a leak. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm asking, is that what you're saying?
It could be.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm just saying that these leaks, you can't take it all as this is all true.
Well, of course. I mean, and even then, like,
As some part of the story is going to be true, though.
well,
I think that some of this, what we're going to be talking about with these leaks here, because we've only just touched part of it.
we have to remember that Disney is very much into the game of disinformation, having a disinformation campaign for you not to know, because who would want that spoiled? And that's the part what we talked about last episode about Kevin Smith having the opportunity to get to see the set of the final scene and how it would melt his face, but how like even us as fans, as much as we want to, we couldn't. So acknowledging that Disney is in a campaign of misinformation. Secondly, it being a leak, you can't take it at face value at all. You can interpret things from it. At the very least, just let it be in a cute little thought experiment that you can poke holes in. But it doesn't make sense, or it wouldn't make sense. But I will add, not to validate it, but I do think it's interesting. Do you remember the interview that Ray had, or that Daisy Ridley had, post Force Awakens? That she said it was apparent to her who her parents were in The Force Awakens. And obviously Rian Johnson with The Last Jedi just took that, and went a completely different direction with that.
Took it away
and
from
being that Abrams, JJ we trust, did Episode 7, is now doing Episode 9, that maybe somehow that little aspect of the story that got leaked gives credence to that. I think it would be interesting. I think it's more likely still that she's a daughter of Luke. Especially because a couple episodes back, they were looking for a role under the codename Mara, for Mara Jade.
Mm-hmm.
And that would make sense. Like if she had the baby, she ran off, didn't spend time with Luke. And that's how Luke didn't know who she was, especially because he had himself turned off from the Force. But
Man, that's a whole nother story, though. They can't fit that all in one movie.
I think this is going to be a longer movie. Maybe not in-game level, 3 hours long. I think it's definitely going to be over 2.5 hours.
It can
long.
be, though. I think it can be.
No. It could be.
Easily.
But I'm just saying, like, I think with the direction that they're having to take, if Carrie Fisher was still alive, maybe they could have made sense where somehow or another that was her child, Ray being her child. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they had enough scenes that they can pull from to extrapolate from to make that make sense for the story. It just, I don't know. It's cool to think that we're going to, at the very least, it sparks these conversations that we can have, at the very least, to poke holes in it. But I don't believe that. And every time you hear a potential leak, I can't believe that either. Like, you can hear leaks about, there's a sinister character. Like, we don't know who he is. We don't know what his backstory is, or her. We don't know what their backstory is. We don't know what they're going to be, but they have a very influential role, say, on one of the main protagonists or antagonists of the film. But that's oddly specific, and I don't think we've ever seen anything come out that's been clear or true that's been that specific. Even under the guise of incomplete story or incomplete data, whatever they said. I don't know.
Like the leaks on Game of Thrones, nobody knew that was going to happen at the end. Nobody.
No,
because they were wrong, they didn't like it. They didn't like the season finale.
I think and this is part of it too. Is I think I remember talking about it before. Do you want to see the story for what it's supposed to be, or do you want to see fan service, or can you could potentially have both?
This generation is a lot about fan service. For people who like a movie, you got to be like, it's fan service. We enjoyed the Quentin Tarantino movie, and that was a little bit of fan service too.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I have to admit,
yes.
A little bit, yeah. But that's what I'm just saying is, at what point can you do fan service where you are not breaking down the story for what it should be, not what it can be? You know what I mean? Like an example, if her parents were always supposed to be nobody from episode 8, and then you do fan service to make her actual parents or children of Han and Leia or Luke and whomever, like, and you're ripping that story, then it's kind of like you're tearing down the story itself. Like, why would you want to do that? Just for the sake of, oh, people like this film because I got to saw this, I got to see this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I think it's just, we can keep on looking at these leaks, but again, not to take true face value for it.
Palpatine's return is another leak.
That I'm game with. And it's not, I don't think,
I mean,
that's a huge
really,
leak, though.
It's not really.
But it's the method. It's the method.
It's how he comes back.
Yeah.
That's a leak. I mean, we know he's gonna be back, but like, how does he come back?
So supposedly he possesses Kylo Ren whenever the hatred grows in him. Whenever he's like young and Luke does the swipey thing. Anyway, so apparently whenever the swipey. Boop. Anyway.
According to
don't you mean execution?
Kylo Ren's story.
According to Kylo Ren's story.
Kylo Ren.
So if we're following that, and Luke began the
Well, because
hatred.
I think Kylo Ren's story is a lie, though. Because if he's lying to Rey, he's got to be lying about Luke's story too.
No, because even liars tell the truth. A broken clock's right twice
So
a day.
you're saying even truthers like Luke is telling a lie?
What I'm saying
A character
is,
like him.
what I'm saying
That's
is
all
we
I-
heard two stories from two different points of view. Both characters were obviously emotional about it. I don't think either of them could be objective, and I think it's probably a cross between the both of them.
I think Luke is the kind of character that when he tells you a story, he's not going to lie about it. He will, however, hide stuff. Like, he won't tell you certain things on purpose.
But again, he was been in
But
seclusion
then, you know what,
for
I'm going to count that
forever.
as a lie. It's
He-
not.
That could have been his perspective, and that's what I think. That's what this is. I don't think it was that necessarily Kylo Ren was lying. I don't think
Or
that it was necessarily
Luke was
Luke that was lying, but that was their perspective. Again, Kylo Ren as a kid, I called it the catalyst that really pushed him to the dark side. Yeah, someone had been messing with him since birth, or not birth, since from a young child. Someone had been manipulating him, but again, seeing his uncle, seeing this, you know, the supposed to be a Grand Master, you know, supposed to be this really influential character, and he's waking up, seeing him hovering over him, whether the lightsaber is ignited or not, he's probably going to assume something bad's going to happen, and he's, again, it's fight or flight, and so he says, "Screw you, I'm going to defend myself." So I don't think, even in Kylo Ren telling that story, that could have been his perspective, and that still could have been true. Again, us three could all see one singular event and take three different things from it. I think both of the perspectives were probably correct, but what is objective truth? What the objective truth is, Luke had to have been in there. Who knows what truly happened? But obviously, Kylo Ren being being influenced with the dark side already, and just waking up to seeing a potential close friend and family member, why would he be in there? You know what I mean? He's not going to be like, "Hey, bro, wake up!
What's
This is
that
really
guy?
cool star
The Patrick,
destroyer outside." I don't
the
know.
SpongeBob meme with the pink guy. Patrick. Like where he's like staring over. It's like Luke over Kylo.
Oh my god.
So again, like, as much I don't think Kylo Ren was telling the truth about Rey, but that doesn't mean he wasn't telling the truth about Luke. Because even liars tell the truth.
Okay. Yeah.
So y'all good with that? Y'all want to move forward?
I'm not done with that story.
Oh.
You know what? It's not really
My
about.
apologies.
It's not really about the leak. I'm just thinking, like, did Luke already know about Snoke at that point in time? He knew about Snoke, right? Leia and Han both said a tip.
He would have had to, because
So like, why wouldn't he defend? Instead, know that he was trying to be that Kylo Ren was being manipulated by Snoke, and just instead defend him instead of trying to like.
Because I think at that point it was too late. In the novelization, in the novelization, Luke or Leia knows that Snoke has been like manipulating him, and that's why she sent him off to Luke, or that's why they sent him off to Luke, was to try to like bring him back in. So I'm sure Luke knew of him, but at that point, it's just we don't know what his backstory is.
Yeah, it's like Luke just made a decision like, oh, it's too late to save this kid. Let me just.
He even kind of said it himself too. Like, in my ignorance, I thought I could teach him. But even then, in his ignorance, he thought he could teach him while he was also being manipulated by this dark entity. So,
So
I'm still trying to have faith with what they're gonna do. I hope Palpatine isn't bringing back Pimper Palpatine. I hope bringing him back isn't just some kind of scapegoat to allow them for this fan service
like
to
to
really
hear,
for
like-
people to appreciate it. But again, I don't think they would tell us if they did do that. So as long as it makes sense with the story, I'm okay with that because he is such a great character. And there are things, I think, some things in Legends that they can pull from to make canon, to make sense, to make the story really good. You like my
I'm thinking like
to make
how funny would it be if J.J. Abrams poked fun at Ryan Johnson's character Snoke or no, that's his own character, really. You can poke fun at Snoke. Anyway, have Emperor Palpatine come back.
Well, I think
Have
JJ's
Palpatine
already
come
done
back.
that though.
Yeah,
That
but
trailer was already
like
detached from everything that
but
had
almost
just happened.
to make Snoke seem like a joke, have Palpatine like talk smack about Snoke as soon as he comes back, like he's a freaking like smuck, whatever. Like that joke of a Sith, you were following him. I can't like.
Well, even then,
that kind of a.
Because Snoke did the same thing to Palpatine. Like he was just like he was stupid or something. Like I forgot what it was. I think we talked about it. I don't remember what it came from, but just simply talking about Snoke was mentioning how Palpatine was
Novelization
was
in the movie.
stupid or
Was it in the
foolish.
movie?
I don't remember if it was in the movie, so it must have been a novelization. But just simply, Snoke was talking about how Palpatine was a failure because he made himself known.
Mm.
But it's kind of like, I think at that point, it's like, what? He was Supreme Chancellor. He became the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like, he's in the most influential position. Like,
Tupac, all eyes on me.
yeah, sure, let's go with that. Yeah, so, I don't know.
Well, what is the other leak?
The other leak is that there's gonna be like an official funeral for Han and Leia.
Okay.
And Luke, Anakin, Yoda, and Obi-Wan will be in attendance as Force ghosts.
That sounds everything is gonna happen there. All of it.
What do you mean everything's going to happen to him?
The funeral for both of them and the Force Ghost. Well, the Force Ghost may not even be for that funeral. It might be for something else. Another celebration. Celebration.
Oh, Jesus. You think that's how we'll end it? The same way they ended episode
Dude,
6?
how many people?
You know, they probably would as a sense of homage.
The way,
But I'm hoping there's
well,
another
JJ already
scene.
did that to A New Hope in his first movie. Like a homage to that.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying that since he's doing that, who's to say that he wouldn't pay homage, especially since it's supposed to be the end of everything. What if you just see, like, all these Force ghosts just, like, become aware? You're like, bro, were you watching me?
Just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
McGregor is like the last one that shows up as a Force Ghost.
Hello there.
Hello there.
I think we've talked about...
That's going to happen.
I don't know, because there was a funeral. It was either in the novelization of episode 7 or 8. There already was
it's for
a
8.
funeral.
It was an 8.
Was it 8?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there already was a funeral for Han.
Han.
Now, it would make sense if they could if they did shoot any of the funeral scenes themselves, if they held on to that so they could use it for Leia for this movie, maybe towards the end. But I don't know.
That would make sense.
Because
too.
it would be easier for them to, use it. Like, use those scenes of the funeral procession and add it to the fact with everything that they have for Leia. But I don't know if they could do both of them. Because, again, if you already have one in the book, I don't think you want to make like a huge... It's one thing if the movies had, like, a detachment from another. Like, they decide to take it in a different turn. But, like... If they already specifically said that there was a funeral here, and then they show it differently here...
Well, maybe it's like a memorial or something.
That's a fair point.
A different kind of ceremony.
I don't remember I don't know if we saw it as a leak or someone was just saying this would be crazy. I don't know if it was with y'all, But someone was saying, like, just imagine, like, if the movie were to begin with some kind of funeral procession or some kind of memorial, say for Han.
We talked about that.
Was that okay?
Yeah.
But and just all of a sudden you see like a TIE fighter or something coming out of
Like a
nowhere.
statue.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like just coming through, and just like raining terror on whatever planet they're at. I mean, it's not all they're on, so. So we're not buying it then? The Han and
I'm buying some kind of like ceremony, memorial, celebration, festival, whatever. And I'm buying the Force Ghosts at some point. Maybe not connected, like y'all said, with the
Okay.
ceremony, but some way. There's gonna be ghosts.
I'm buying all of that too.
okay, we are buying it. Well, what I meant is, are we not buying it? Okay, if it was a memorial, yes, but we're not buying that. It's a combined.
A joint funeral.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like almost all these things have to happen. Not all of them, just like that leak in particular. The other ones can just.
Because they were talking about other Force Ghosts since the last movie too, and all we got was Yoda. Not to say that wasn't great for us to see one of Ryan Johnson's few good decisions. I don't know, but yeah, like I mean, I think it'd be cool because in the beginning of the trailer they talk about all the knowledge we have shared, all of our knowledge with you, or whatever. Like all the knowledge, the thousands years of knowledge, or something to that effect. So you would almost kind of think that it's possible that we see the Force Ghost maybe multiple times, but I really feel like JJ, like whatever, like the final act is, like the final battle, whatever. I think that's going to be epic, but I think he'll probably close off the movie in a very traditional, old-fashioned sense, where it might be kind of another reiteration of Episode 6. You see all the different, systems are happy. The First Order has been destroyed. We'll obviously have at that point clarity to whatever this whole idea of Force users and the balance of the Force probably again happens. Maybe we'll get to see a memorial kind of thing. We'll get to see the Force Ghost again, and then it ends on a happy note. A nice little bow to finish up 9 episodes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We go with that?
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Patrick Mayhew.
Patrick
Credit.
Mayhew? Peter?
Oh shit! I'm stuck with the Patrick on the freaking.
I thought you were still talking about
Peter
SpongeBob. I was like, wait a
Peter
minute.
Mayhew.
Yeah, I stuck with Patrick from
Stewart.
SpongeBob.
Oh.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, God.
My bad. It's so messed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we'll see Peter Mayhew. We'll probably see all of them. They're probably,
How?
they did do
How
that for.
though?
They did do that for. No. I mean, not see him, but like a memorial to him, like
Yeah.
maybe in the credits or
Oh.
something. Kind of like how they did for Endgame.
Yeah.
How they had the main 6 or the main originals.
Yeah.
Like even the little goofy signature thing, but some kind of memorialization of these
Yeah,
huge characters and this huge
Yeah.
last couple decades of this huge story.
Yeah.
And then we get a final clip of 100 to 200 years, 100 years in the future, and then we get
You and
That's
Lewis
too
are on
much.
that.
and you get
No.
the kids from Chewie show up.
I just feel
Yeah,
like that would
kids.
take away. I mean, I just feel like that would take away from it.
Yeah.
Like
Kinda
you don't want
a
to sit
little
there
bit
and do
cheesy.
all this work to bring the fan base back in. You don't want to do all this work to be like
To
this
tease
is
them again?
this is the story,
Yeah.
and then have this closure,
You don't
and
wanna
then all of a
tease them
sudden, I don't think this is the moment.
Just do
for
it
closure.
like Endgame with the hammer.
Or, I mean, I think this is the
The
moment for
hammer.
closure. But see, that wasn't like a segue into 100 years from now. That
Yeah.
was the closure. That was like
Yeah.
this is the ending of this era. And again, I think that's what if Lucasfilm wants to be successful,
Yeah.
if they do all the legwork,
That's the ending of a Skywalker story, beginning of another, and I think Disney is gonna they want you to stay with with Star Wars.
but they're going to, especially if they're happy with this, because then Mandalorian comes out, and then we'll start to get these other shows, other Star Wars shows, on Disney streaming service, and then we'll eventually, maybe 2 years down the road, we'll get that new Star Wars movie, 2 or 3 years, whether it be Ryan Johnson's
2022.
goofy ass trilogy or D&D's. Dan and Dave.
Don't talk shit about D&D.
I'm not talking shit about them. I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. I think you want closure to this, so the movies can come in 3 years, and everyone at that point is going to be like, when am I going to get my next Star Wars movie? But in the
It's
meanwhile,
gonna be like a clean slate.
exactly, and it's a new complete thought, a new complete story,
Yeah.
and it won't be just
Unless they already have that stuff thought out and it's actually gonna connect to it.
I don't.
Because
Well,
then that kind of leaves a little bit of.
they already said they weren't going
anticipation.
to though. They already said Ryan Johnson was a completely different new trilogy, and that
I know, but what if they already have like an idea? What if they already have that planned out? They
They're-
have a little bit.
They have to already have it planned out. They're Disney's always 10,
And so
10 to
they-
20 years in the future.
If they already have a little bit filmed, what if they just use that
They
to
would- they would have-
be the new hook?
No. No. No.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm thinking I either want that
Yes, they
or I
have
want
it.
nothing
Absolutely.
at all.
Yes, they have it planned out. B, it has nothing to do with this lineage. They're going to let it sit
No,
for a
I
while.
know. Okay.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Okay. That's the end of that story.
Wait.
No. Wait.